bit. This is a CNN News 18 exclusive, flashing the details on your screens, viewers. We're learning, as per sources, Saudi Arabia has also sought Pakistan's military assistance. So Pakistan pledging full support under the Pak-Saudi Strategic Mutual Defence Agreement. Top sources breaking down all these inputs for us. What this means in terms of the larger conflict that's playing out. I do want to bring in Anand Narasimhan into the conversation. Hi, Anand. Anand, what does this mean? Is it just limited to the defence pact signed between the two and how they've committed that one act of aggression against the one is going to be treated as one against both?
Well, good afternoon to all our viewers. Actually morning, but it's just that we've been working round the clock here. But let's understand, Pakistan is caught in a bind. On the one hand, they are expressing solidarity with the Iranians. On the other hand, they are sending across their AWACS, they're sending across their J-17s, and they're doing sorties to try and patrol that area at the behest of the Saudis, because they have committed to the Saudis that your war is my war and my war is your war. That's the kind of pact that they had signed. Little did they know that rather than using the Saudis or against Bharat, Pakistan will have to now turn up against Iran. So their JF-17s may be acting on behalf of Saudi Arabia against the Iranians, while their Prime Minister is standing up there and saying, hey, listen, we express solidarity with the Khamenei regime and with the IRGC. So that's how duplicitous Pakistan is. But we have to understand that the Pakistanis are stretched thin. They have a fight going on against the Afghans. The Afghans send loitering munitions to the Noor Khan base and to some of their other bases. They're stretched in Balochistan because they don't know what's happening there. The BLA is running them dry. And on the other hand, they are worried if Bharat does any military exercise on its eastern borders, what are they going to do? So the Pakistanis are stretched thin, and now they have had to deploy resources because the Saudis have said, listen, you signed the agreement, come on, back us up.
Where does this put them with the United States? What's that equation going to look like?
Well, the US, anyway, you saw what just now President Trump has said about Zelensky, and we know what President Trump thinks about the Pakistanis, and how Asim Munir made a quote-unquote, fool of himself. And it's the Pakistanis who have mocked their own failed general, a failed marshal, because of the fact that he went there to wine and dine, and all he was treated like was a doormat. And the Pakistanis are currently offering their bases for the Americans to refuel and take off and also counter Iran from this side. So, all in all, everybody knows what Pakistan's stature is, but the Pak military right now is stretched thin. And there is a lot of resistance brewing even within their own regiments, because a lot of them, Kritsween, are either Pashtun or Baloch or, Afghan. And there are also a lot of Shia. And the Shia are looking at this and saying, you are asking us to go and fight against our own spiritual head and perhaps where we have our civilizational roots or descendants from. How are we going to do this? So the Pakistanis are quite caught in a bind, but everybody knows who they are, and they are treated thus as doormats.
And then there are internal challenges that Pakistan continues to face, terror challenges staring right at Pakistan at the moment. So how are they going to navigate through all those challenges remains to be seen. Thank you for that, Anand. We need to quickly go across to our news desk, where we're pulling out several visuals for you on what's happening in the war zone. Haim is joining us here in the newsroom. Haim, what do you have for us? You're taking us through some footage that's been shared by IDF.
And we're actually going to have to zoom into this one as well, and I'm going to pause in these specific places. Now, this is the footage that's been released by the IDF, Prithveen. If I can quickly take us through the information here as well. This is the footage that they claim has eliminated the personnel of Iranian regime, which were trying to intercept their air defense system. Now, remember, the Iranian regime has the tall task of competing with Israel's Iron Dome. Remember, these are the two personnel. These are the attackers that we're looking at here, and this is on target. So this, Israel says, the IDF has released this footage. It says that it has completely eliminated all the strikes, and they continue to strike Israel. They're intended to harm Israeli aircraft as well. So Iranian regime, they're trying to pierce through the Iron Dome. At the same time, Israel is also applying its Iron Beam. Now that is something that they've also managed to pierce in some places. So if I could just go back in this video, they are eliminating these two targets, they've said, in this particular video that we're looking at, and this was released by the IDF.
And well, as is in the case of any conflict, this is turning out to be a narrative war by the day. Thank you so much, Haim, for joining us with all those details. So that's the message being sent out by the Israeli forces. For now, it's time for us to head into a very quick break. News and updates continue on the other side. We'll be right back.